Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and yes, part 2 of my ongoing Zulu project log. Quite surprised I got to part 2 because this is something I've never really worked on before, but there is a part 2 and I've made some quite significant progress. So I'll link the previous video in the description below, but essentially in part 1 I'd completed sort of my first few bases. I completed 4 bases and a command stand, and this was more of an introduction, more of a test, you know, get the paint scheme down, see if I enjoy it, was I going to continue, and well, I have. And in this video I'm going to show you exactly what I've done since that last video. So I'm going to start off with the second unit. So I've completed another 4 bases of 4 Zulus each. Now I've used exactly the same scheme as last time to work on these, and it's really quite a quick one. I can get these painted relatively quickly now, which is just as well, because I'm going to need to have quite a few. In fact, you could say I'm going to need thousands of them. Yeah, I couldn't get through this video without at least one reference to the film Zulu. But that's a base of 4 Zulus. As you can see, I've stuck with the same colour scheme for the shields as I did in the first one. Now I particularly like this one. So these are all by Perry Miniatures, these Zulus, and in there you get this casualty figure here. And that works really well. Gives the unit or the base a bit of sort of realism, a bit of character. So he's obviously met an unfortunate end on his charge forward. So again, there's a mix here of chaps with assegai spears. We've got a Knobkree there. As you can see, I'm sticking with the same scheme all the way through. This is just gives the units and the bases more of a cohesive look, but for me it's quicker to paint if I've got a limited palette. But that's the second base of the unit. Here's the third one. Again, I absolutely flew through these because I've nailed the paint scheme down, so I can do them really quite quickly. A lot of washes involved, and just keeping things simple. I found that the less steps, the simpler you keep it, the easier these are to paint. And I'm sticking with the same basing scheme as last time because that appears to be working really well. Okay, and the last base of this unit, here we go. So again, a mixture of javelins and assegais, and the same shield pattern. So once that was done, I thought, right, that's all of the sort of figures from the Perry's box painted. There's 8 bases, it's 32 figures. What I want to do now is add some warriors with rifles. These were looted off the battlefield, for example, at Islandwana, and used by the Zulus. So I wanted to reflect that. Now, I looked in the Perry's box, and you get rifle options in there, and I've used some of those on these. But what I've also done is a bit of kit bashing, as you'll see. So both of these are, the bodies and the heads are from the Warlord Games Unmarried Regiment. But on this chap on the left, his right arm is actually from the Perry's box. And I didn't think this was going to work. It was a bit of a leap of blind faith. I just went at it with clippers and cut the upper arms off of the Warlord Games ones, just to see if they'd fit. And you know what? They fit really well. So this guy on the right here, both of his arms are from the Perry's box, and you won't be able to tell. They scale really well, and it took a bit of tactical cutting and carving with a craft knife and some clippers. Some have got a little bit of milliput and modelling putty to hide the gaps, but the gaps were really minimal. When I realised how well they went together, I was so happy. I've got some really unique looking figures. So on the next two bases, so the chap on the left, that's purely from the Perry's box. Again, this guy here, so his right arm, sorry, his left arm rather, is from the Warlord kit, as is the body and the head. And the right arm is from the Perry's box. Again, it's just a case of the Warlord Games ones come with sort of a third of an arm you attach the rest to. So what I need to do was very carefully cut that away as such that the Perry's arm could fit exactly over where that arm had been removed. And as you can see, you can't really tell that there was a join there, or that they're actually two separate figures. I was so happy when these went together. And again, this one here, I really like the pose on the guy on the left. He's the actual real figure from the Warlord Games box. He's running, and he's meant to be carrying a spear and a shield. But I cut both those arms off, and I made him look like he was running with a rifle instead. And it just works. Guy on the right, again, from the Perry's box, but a good mixture of figures, a bit of brave kit bashing in cutting the figures up, but well worth it. That's what I love about kit bashing, is when you have an idea, you have a concept, and you look at the figures and you think, oh, is this going to work? And you go for it, and you know, yeah, it's chopping up figures at the end of the day. But when they come out like this and the plan works, it's one of the best parts of kit bashing figures. And I've got me some really unique and individual looking warriors armed with rifles. The last thing I've done is another command base. Now this was, since the last video, I've had quite a few people get in contact with me recommending different ranges and different manufacturers for additional figures, etc. Considering I've only been using Perry and Warlord so far. Now one of those was Empress. Empress Miniatures do a really good line of Anglo-Zulu War miniatures. So I had a look through them on their online store, and I bought two sets. I got a command set and this one here. So this is the command base that I've used using the Empress miniatures. So this is a Zulu chief or commander on a horse, and he's obviously in conversation with this runner. Now as soon as I saw these figures, I thought I need to put these on some kind of command base, some kind of little scenario, some kind of little vignette or a diorama. And yeah, I think it works quite well. So what I did, because I've used quite a big base and there's quite a hefty bit of open space here, what I've done is I've taken a couple of casualty figures from Perry Miniatures. So this is the Anglo-Zulu War British, and again this is just from the Zulu box. You get casualty figures in those boxes, as demonstrated by this poor chap here. But it's a really good way of adding a bit of character to the base, is a bit of uniqueness. So I quickly painted those up. As if there's been the aftermath of a battle. He's off to deliver a message with regards to the outcome. It's something very simple, but I did enjoy working on it. It's quite minimal with the figures, and I stuck with the same basing as the rest of the figures. But that is another command base. So that, along with this one here, are two command bases. This was shown in the first video, and this is the second one. Again, much bigger base on this one. That was completely my mistake. I picked up the wrong base when going through my basing material stash. I forgot I had smaller ones, but I think the base actually works quite well. I think in games of Black Powder, the base size of command units don't really matter. I've seen some pretty chunky ones during my time in the hobby. But that right there is a command base. So that's what I'm up to. Just move those there, and you can see if we can combine these into one unit, which I might start doing. I might have one box per unit. There we go. So as you can see, quite the impressive sight of Zulu warriors there. Moving forward, what I'm going to do is pick up another box of the Perry Miniature Zulus, another box of possibly this time the Warlord Married Regiment of Zulus, And I've also been very kindly, big shout out to Chris, who got in touch, having a bit of a clear out, and has sent me some Zulus, some Empress and some Warlords. So cheers Chris, really appreciate that. I'm going to make sure I put those to good use in this project. Well, that's it for this update, part 2 of my Zulu project log. If you've got any comments about this or wargaming in general, just pop them down below and I'll certainly respond to all comments and questions. But as always, thanks for watching, do take care, may your dice roll well, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So bye bye for now.